The trailer for Part 2 of Cobra Kai Season 6 is finally here, and they revealed many important details. We finally get an official look at the new rivals of the series, and there are many hidden secrets you need to know. Today on Charlietales, we'll go through the trailer frame by frame and show you everything we know about Part 2 of the season. Ready? Let's go! The trailer begins with the inauguration of the Sekai Taikai. The tournament kicks off with some elimination matches, where all the dojos fight. We immediately see how the Miyagi-Do team is completely outclassed by the other dojos. If we pause, we can see this moment where Yoon from Cobra Kai delivers a super kick to Hawk. We also see Dimitri and Devin getting destroyed. Perhaps the most interesting moment is this one where we see Tori being defeated by an unknown girl. She is Zara Malik from the Iron Dragon's dojo. I've already talked to you about her in past videos. In real life, the actress is a high-level martial artist, and in Cobra Kai, she will be one of the most important characters in Part 2. In the background of the same scene, we can see a blurry young man. This is Axel Kovacevic, Zara's partner. Axel is the star student of Iron Dragons, and will also be highly significant. In other scenes of the trailer, we can see him more clearly. The Iron Dragons will be the main rivals of Part 2, and many believe they might even be more important than Cobra Kai. But I'll talk more about that later. We have scenes of the Miyagi-Do team discussing how they were humiliated in the initial fights. Here they mention something crucial. Normally they only fight against Cobra Kai, but this time, Cobra Kai is just one of 16 dojos. This is essential to understand how Part 2 works. This time, Cobra Kai won't be the only enemy. I think in this Part 2, Cobra Kai will take a back seat. The other dojos will be the enemies of Miyagi-Do, and only in Part 3 will we see the true final battle against Kreese's Cobra Kai. And of course, we will see the return of Silver. Here's an important scene. We see Kwon in a bar affectionately hugging Tori, while Robbie watches them helplessly. Let's remember that Tori was Robbie's girlfriend before she left Miyagi-Do. But now we see her with Kwon. I'm sure this is a tactic by Kreese, or Kwon, to distract Robbie. I highly doubt that Tori would fall for someone like Kwon, whom she just met. For me, this is part of a strategy. In this image, we can see that one of the Sekai Taikai challenges will be a group battle in some sort of circle. Here we see Miyagi-Do against Cobra Kai, but in other shots, we see Miyagi-Do against a blue dojo. Most likely, this challenge will consist of 1v1 fights, but as time passes, other fighters will enter the arena. One enters, another exits. Perhaps the most significant part is that Robbie constantly loses in these fights. We can see he's really struggling. This connects to another scene, where Miguel is confronting him for not acting like a captain. Let's remember that in Part 1, Robbie earned the right to be a captain, and Miguel came in second. This will create tension between them. Robbie is likely mentally distracted due to Tori's betrayal, and seeing her at the bar with Kwon is emotionally throwing him off, leading to him losing many fights. Let's go back to the circle scene. Here we can spot a familiar face. We can't see his face clearly, but his color gives him away. It's Kenny. He's joining Miyagi-Do. In fact, in this other part, when Robbie gets kicked, we can see Kenny more clearly. In previous videos, I've shown you leaked images that showed Kenny returning to Miyagi-Do. We even know he will win some competition. It is very likely that Kenny will return to Miyagi-Do and take Devin's spot. Remember, Devin took his place. It's only logical that in Part 2, we'll see her apologize for cheating and give him his position back. Here we can see Miguel crying and hugging Johnny. What's happening? It seems like a tragedy occurred. I highly doubt Miguel is crying over losing a fight or something like that. Maybe something happened to his mom in All Valley. Let's remember that she's pregnant, so it's possible her health took a turn for the worse. Another possibility is that he's crying over Samantha. Some time ago, I showed you leaks where we saw Axel Kovacevic getting romantically close to Sam. Here we see them walking together on a beach. It's possible that this breaks up Miguel and Sam's relationship. That would also explain Miguel crying. Now we can see the master of the Iron Dragon's dojo. He's Sensei Wolf. Netflix had already shown us photos of the character, but in this trailer we see much more of his personality. For example, in this scene, he's humiliatingly beating Axel while Samantha watches. Perhaps this mistreatment is how Samantha connects with Axel. But back to Wolf. It's more than evident that he will be a significant rival in Part 2. Perhaps the most important. Here we see him face to face with Johnny Lawrence. We also hear his voice disdainfully criticizing Americans. Let's talk a bit about the Iron Dragons. So far, we only know 3 of their members, but they are the most important ones. The trailer shows very little of these characters. I'm sure they will be the main rivals in Part 2, and they're keeping it all under wraps. In the trailer, we have this scene where Axel brutally hits Robbie. Thanks to leaked photos, we know Robbie will have a wound on his face. Now we know Axel causes the injury. There's also the supposed romantic relationship between Axel and Sam. These characters will be very relevant in part 2. That much is clear to me. In this scene, we see Daniel holding Kreese threateningly. There's no further context as to why, but I believe Daniel is angry because Kreese took advantage of Tori's vulnerability to bring her to Cobra Kai. Let's remember that in part 1, Tori's mother died, and Kreese exploited this weakness to recruit her. Many of us even have the theory that Kreese might have had something to do with Tori's mom's death, but that's not confirmed. In this scene, there's a street fight. Miyagi-Do versus Cobra Kai. We can only make out Sam and Quan. We don't know the context of the fight, but it's surely a brawl between the two teams. Nothing unusual, as the series often shows fights outside tournaments. Here's one of the most talked about moments in the trailer. There will be a fight between Robbie and Quan, but it won't be an exclusive fight between them, and these images aren't from a final match, of course. We can tell by the banner in the background. Plus, this is a group fight with turns. If we look at the floor, we see the same circular shape from earlier scenes. Miguel and Hawk are also waiting their turn to enter the arena. In the same elimination round, we see a moment where Miguel kicks a Cobra Kai student. Many think he's kicking Quan, but that's not true. Firstly, because we can see Quan in the background waiting for his turn. This character could be Yoon, the other star student of Cobra Kai. In this same circle test, there will come a moment when the individual fights evolve into group fights of 2v2 or more. We know this because in this image, we see Samantha and Hawk fighting 2 Cobra Kai students at the same time. At this point, it's no longer turn-based, and it seems there's no distinction between men and women in this test. Everyone fights against everyone. In this group stage, we also see Kenny performing a move with Dimitri's help. As I said earlier, Kenny will play a key role in a Miyagi-Do victory. Lastly, we have this scene of a knife moving. This is the knife Kreese got in Korea during Sensei Kim's test. In other images, we've seen Kreese bringing the knife to the Sekai Taikai. This clip suggests the knife will be important. There are many rumors going around. Some say Quan will be gravely injured because of this knife, or might even die accidentally. Personally, I don't think anyone will die, but I do think someone will get hurt by Kreese's knife. They're showing it for a reason. That's all for today. If you liked the video, you'd really help me out by leaving a like. That would be legendary. Also, remember to subscribe to see more videos like this. Thanks for listening. My name is Charlie, and I'll see you in the future.